So in this video I'm going to talk about module scripts. I'm going to start by inserting a script in here as well as a module script. Go and delete all the code here. So basically all a module script is that it's a script that has a built-in table in, and it returns that table whenever a different script tries to access the module script. So one thing to keep a note first though is that if I were to try to put any code here, let's see, put hello world, and there's no code here either. I'll go ahead and test this. You can see that the print doesn't execute. That is because a module script doesn't execute code until another script tries to access it. So in a separate script, I'm going to try to access this module script, which I can do by simply typing in the require function and then passing in the module script wherever it is. So in this case, it's going to be in service. And then now once I run it, you can see now it executes the code hello world. So whenever we use the require, it gives us the return value of whatever this line is. In this case, it's just this table right here. So let's go ahead and set this to a variable. I'm just going to call this some module. And then we can go ahead and print this just to see what's going on with it. You can see it prints the empty table right there, because that is the return value. So because this is a table, we can also store values in it. So for example, I can put in a favorite color, pink. And let's do another one. Let's do favorite number. Okay, and now we can go ahead and run this. And you can see that script was able to access the values within the table. So this is really handy for if you want multiple scripts to access some values in a table, or you can even store functions in here. For example, I could do module.someFunction is equal to function. Let's just do another print here. Hi. You can see if I run this now, the function is in the table, and we can also run this function. So we can remove this, just call the function like so, and you can see it calls the function right there, prints hi. Some other ways to write a function would be you can also write it inside the table itself. You can do something like this. It's the same thing really, and you can also do it like this. Either way works. Let me see if I remove these, it'll work just fine. Yep, so feel free to use whatever method is more comfortable to you. So what are the practical examples of how to use module scripts? I went ahead and made this test place here with 3 different models, and I'll go ahead and play them for you and see what they do. So right now I have it to where if I click on the campfire, it turns off. If I click on the lamp, it turns off. If I click on a shower, it turns off. Very consistent. I'll go ahead and just give a rundown of the scripts. So each model has its own script. So campfire script here. Again, it just gets each particle in light and turns it off. And then we can go to the lamp here, and you can see it does the same thing. It just turns off the light. And then another one here. You can see it just turns off the water here. So it all uses the same code. However, we can use module scripts to make this a bit cleaner and a bit more usable. So I'm just going to put a module script in replicate storage. It doesn't really matter where you put it as long as any script can access it. And I'm going to make a function that just turns off any particles in light in general. So I'm just going to put in a function in this table, module.setParticleState. And I'll give it a model parameter as well as the state. I'm going to make a loop that loops through every child within the model. So it'll be looping through each part here as well as everything inside. So I'm going to make a for loop. And I'm going to loop through the descendants of the model. Then I'll check if that object is a particle emitter or a light. If so, then I'll set the state to whatever we pass it here. So again, we're just putting function inside this module, and then we want each script to require that module script. So I'm just gonna require it here. Local modules equal to require game.replicate storage module script. Then I can just call the function set particle state, pass it the model, so let's do script.parent, and let's just put it to false. And I'll do that for each one now. Okay, so I replaced all the scripts to use the module function instead of having their own lines of code. And now we can go ahead and run this and see if it works. So try turning off fire, done. Turn off the light, done. Turn off shower, done. So even though this doesn't seem like a big deal, you know, it helps a lot when you have a lot of scripts using the same code and you have different scripts need to use the same function. And also, the benefit to this is that as well as if I need to change something within the function itself, I don't have to go to each script and change it. I can just go to the module script. And unless I don't want to turn off the light, I can just delete that in the function, and it'll update in the other scripts that uses the same function. So now it doesn't turn off the light, see I click on lamp and it doesn't do anything. And then you see it turns on water there. So I made another example here where I gave myself two guns, a rifle and a pistol. So if I hold the pistol, you can see the guns right there. And if I click, it starts shooting. And the same thing with the rifle. And you see the bullets are different colors, and they also have different speeds. The rifle is much faster. So let's go take a look at the code there. So again, each gun has its own local script, and just to skim it off, I'm making a bullet here, changing the color, setting the size, as then this part here moves the bullet forward. Right now it's moving 40 studs a second. And then if we go to the rifle script, same thing here, makes the bullet here, sets the color, sets the size, and then this loop controls the movement of the bullet, which now it's moving 80 studs a second. So this code is well and good and all, but if you have a lot of guns and you want to change something, like let's say I want to change the speed of the bullet, I have to open up the local script of the rifle and then read everything and then feel it and then see, oh look, the speed of the bullet's right here. So I can just change it to like 1 or something, then play it to test it. And you see it works just fine. So even though you could do something like that, it's not the best system because there's going to be scenarios where you haven't seen your code in like months and you don't really want to feel like reading through all of it. Or if you have a different script on your team, you also don't want them. You also don't want to make them read through all of it. So something I like doing is using a module script that stores all the stats of the gun. So I'll go ahead and make an example. Go ahead and make a module script here. And then I'm just going to put each gun here, pistol, and then one for rifle. And then I'll put in the bullet speed. So we'll make this probably about 40 studs a second. And then the bullet color. We'll make this yellow. And then as well as the bullet size. And then we'll do the same for the rifle. So rifles shoot bullets faster, so do this like 120 I guess. And then let's put this to red. And then make the rifle bullet a little longer, like so. And then we can change out the code here to now use the module. So I'm going to make a variable here for the module script. I'm just going to call this gun stats, require, and then wherever the module script is. And now instead of setting these values manually in the function, I can just reference it. Gunstats.pistol.bullet size, and I just do that for each property I want. This bullet color, and then lastly the bullet speed. And now we do that for the rifle. Go ahead and Just copy this line here. Then same logic, but this time for the rifle. Size and then the bullet speed. Okay, now if we were to test this, it should work the same way. So pistol first. Yep. Looks like it. So the speed looks fine, and I think the size is also fine. But let's say I want to change this. I just simply go to the module script, and as I want to make the rifle bullet longer, and then make the pistol bullet a little bit thinner. So do 0.1. And do the same thing here. There we go, that looks a lot better. So the benefit to this system is that, let's say you haven't touched your gun code in months and you don't really understand what's fully going on, you don't really feel like reading it. That's okay, you can just go to this module script here, and then change out the stats. And you can even have non-coders do this too, you can just teach them how to change these numbers and they'll figure it out. So that's basically it for module scripts. It's really useful for storing like a lot of values and having different scripts access them. If you have any questions, feel free to join my Discord or comment down below. And also feel free to comment if you have any other video suggestions or tutorials you want to see.